Yo, howdy all, grab yourself a drink, it is time for some PathOfExile discussion. Today I wanted to outline how you can use Harvest to create really good crafting bases. Now this is based upon the current League economy. I'm recording this during 3.19 and at this point Warlord's Exalted Orbs have become extremely cheap. These have fallen to only 35 chaos each. Sometimes it's not the Warlord ones that are the cheapest, sometimes it can be the Crusader or the Redeemer ones. You can use any of those. You probably don't want to use Hunter Exalts because they tend to be more expensive. I also have a bunch of Stygian Vises here. None of these are particularly good. All of them are item level 86 and above bases. Some of them are 86, some are 89. There is no practical difference between the two. The mod pool for both is exactly the same. All we're going to do here is start out by applying a Warlord's Exalted Orb to each of these. Now these are not currently good items, and as a result we're not going to end up creating a masterpiece with this step. All we're doing here is using one of the two functions of the Warlord's Exalt. So these two features are that it will add a Warlord mod to the item, and it will also permanently change the item into a Warlord item. So we're just going to do that, and while we're doing so, we're just having a look to see if we get anything spectacular. I mean, 18% to all resistances is a good mod, but it's not something that's a big selling point of the item. That's fine. We weren't expecting to create anything magnificent here. What we're wanting to do now is use Harvest, and we're going to use a fairly expensive craft. When we say expensive, we mean about 34 chaos at current market values. That's because blue lifeforce is the cheapest of them all, and it is currently about 34 chaos per 1,000. It's just going to randomize the influence type on this. There are three win conditions. We can get a Hunter influence, which is the weakest win condition. We can get a Shaper influence, or we can get an Elder influence, and they're the better ones. If we get a Redeemer, a Crusader, or a Warlord back, then we've gone nowhere. So firstly, we've gone and we've turned it into a Crusader influence. This has been a failure. We're just going to roll over it again. This time we've gotten ourselves a Hunter one. The reason that Hunter ones are pretty good is that they tend to cost a little bit more to make because Hunter Exalts are more expensive, and they have a bunch of good life mods. So we're just going to keep that aside. That is a crafting base. This is not something you would equip as it currently is. It's something that is of use as a base. Here we've hit a Shaper one. That's the sort of win condition that we're looking for. Elder is the best influence to get. Shaper is second best. Hunter is third. At least at the time I'm recording this video. There's a second Shaper one. And we're going to run out of Harvest Juice pretty soon. There's an Elder influence. Well, that's actually, we've done better than average here. We've got 2 Shaper, 1 Elder, and 1 Hunter. And then we're probably going to miss with this one. Oh, wow, we got an Elder influence again. Now, the reason that this can be a worthwhile craft in Trade League is that the people who want each of these different types of influences are different to each other. Often people who are looking for Elder can use Hunter and vice versa because they have fairly similar mod pools. But for one person, they may be only interested in a Shaper influence Stygian Vise. Unless your belt came from ROG or you have an extraordinarily good crystal belt, you're pretty much always using a Stygian Vise at endgame, assuming you want to use a rare rather than a unique. And leather belts are just generally worse than a Stygian Vise, and crystal belts can be better, but usually a Stygian Vise will come out ahead there as well. And so for that reason, people often look for a Stygian Vise that is the exact influence combination they want. Now, if you were to make the exact influence type you want, it's on average going to cost you a crafting base, plus a Conqueror Exalt, plus a few of these randomized influences. On average, it's going to take you 5, because every time you use it, it's going to change the influence that you've got. So for that reason, for a player who wants an Elder influence Stygian Vise, it's going to cost them on average 210 chaos to get it roughly. However, I can actually sell for less than that because, as well as getting these Elder influence belts sometimes, I'm also getting the odd Shaper influence one someone wants, I'm getting the odd Hunter influence one that someone wants. And so for that reason, this ends up being lucrative as long as you're able to sit on these until they sell. Anyways, that's just a quick thing for using Harvest to create crafting bases in the current endgame. May your influence swaps have interesting results.